Welcome to the Cozy Little Library today with your Clean Reads Book Buddy. In August, I read 18 books.
Seriously?
In this August reading wrap-up today, I want to give you some book reviews and recommendations of the clean and Christian historical fiction that I read, clean contemporary romance, middle grade, and more. We've got a lot of new releases and we've got a lot of older books, so let's get to it.
Let's go!
The Sisters of Skye by Julie Klassen was such a wonderful book. Christian historical fiction, Regency romance, clean romance, full of faith. I felt like I was on an extended vacation to Sidmouth, England in 1819. Four sisters and a mom are trying their best to hang on to their big, beautiful home by the sea. So the eldest comes up with the idea to let out rooms to visitors. They are very surprised about the guests that do show up to stay, all of them eligible bachelors of all ages. I felt like I was a guest paying for a room, hanging out. It is my humble opinion, if you are able to get the fantastic audiobook and if you're able to read with your eyeballs, you can keep track of the different characters because the audiobook really differentiates between them and you're able to keep up with the story and enjoy it. And if you don't get in a hurry, that is very helpful because if you try to rush through this, you're going to get lost in the weeds for sure. I love this story. I'm so thankful that it is part of a series because I didn't want it to end, but there is a book 2, Winter by the Sea, and book 3 comes out in December. 5 stars. Let's talk about the other Julie Klassen book that I read in August. I was supposed to wait until cozy season until now, but I was ready for some mystery.
Ready?
And some atmosphere, and this one really brought it. The Tutor's Daughter and the mystery of the spooky house on the Cornwall dangerous coast. That was a huge atmospheric plot point. A lot of suspenseful things happen. She's the only one that hears the spooky things going on. She and her widowed father have come to this huge estate to tutor 2 of the youngest brothers. There are also 2 older brothers that are around her age, eligible bachelors. All this mysterious stuff is going on. The brothers have secrets. Her and her father are grieving over the loss of her mother still. There were so many scriptures and other quotes that really touched my heart. Such a comforting book. The mystery and suspense. The forced proximity was also nice, and there's just a dynamic about that I think I love. But yes, atmospheric, spooky, immersive, full of faith, gentle themes of love and forgiveness. 5 stars. Let's talk about the Christian historical fiction Trilogy by Jen Turano and my very unpopular position on this. Book number 1, A Match in the Making, was about Gwendolyn, the assistant matchmaker in high society New York during the Gilded Age. The said couple will end up playing tennis together or sitting together at dinner, really manipulate that situation, and the fellas have no idea that this is going on. Kind of interesting, and there were some funny parts. Book number 2 is To Spark a Match. One of the girls from book number 1 is our main character in book number 2, and it was cute. A bookshop, a little bit of spying and espionage, and then book number 3, not your typical damsel in distress. Our hero is not very typical either. He's very wealthy, but he's a country bumpkin. Book number 1 was highly entertaining, though I found myself getting bored. Book number 2 I thought was cute and a little bit exciting. And then book number 3, the main character, I felt like she was so mean to the fella. Like he would say things like little lady.
Hey, howdy there, little lady.
I just didn't like her attitude, okay?
Okay.
Book number 3 was the new release. I'll put the date here. A lot of people have loved these. They are cute, they are Christian, and they are entertaining. I gave them all 3 stars. One more historical Christian fiction trilogy that I read. The lady who has raised her, as she's passing away, she says, here's this letter. It will explain the secrets. So she goes to Briarton Park where the letter summoned her from, the estate itself and the whole community, just like the book. Everything just seems kind of gloomy and overcast. There is some danger, there's some peril and suspense, but it's squeaky clean romance, very slow burn, sweet book. Book number 2 is In the Shelter of Hollythorn House. All 3 of these books that I'm going to talk about are standalone from each other, but this one is about our main character finds herself in quite a pickle of a situation, like super serious at the very beginning. This one is just kind of like action-packed. There is a lot of danger in this one as well, and suspense, and I loved it. I really loved it. And now let's talk about book number 3, the new release. I liked how the Cloverton charade started out with the kids young and their relationship that they had, how close they were, how they picked on each other. The dads were in the same kind of business. At one time they were friends, and then some things happened, kind of Romeo and Juliet thing. They were forbidden to see each other, and then time goes on and they both end up at this house party, again with wealthy society, and their real identities are not known by everybody there. Got a little bored. The talk about alcohol just was excessive. It's something I don't normally notice, but I did enjoy the first 2 books more. I gave them both 4 stars. Virginia is book number 4 in the Daughters of the Lost Colony by Shannon McNear. Virginia is supposed to be the granddaughter of the man who comes back from England to check on this lost colony in the 1600s. I thought though, okay, this is Native American situations and I avoid violence at all costs, but it says that she's 14 and she wants something more. So I assumed that she would be leaving the Roanoke community and maybe making her way to England somehow.
Nope.
But when I accepted the advanced reader copy, that's not what it is. But I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. There's a brutal scene midway through. It was a quick situation, but the glossary words that I had to figure out, all that stuff was kind of hard. The faith content was fabulous. Her faith, her mother's faith. The author is amazing in her research. You can tell that she is very passionate about this time period and sharing all that. I know what she was trying to do spiritually speaking, but that brutal scene midway, it turned my stomach. If you are not super sensitive to violence and you like this era of time, then you may enjoy this, but I'm just not her target market, and it just was not for me. Let's talk about a book that I absolutely adored, and that is Lakeshire Park by Megan Walker. This book was so good. What a surprise. The beautiful choice of words, the drama, the sweet romance, the secrets, the angst, the heartbreak. There's a scenic backdrop. The 2 sisters involved gave a little bit of a nod from me to Sense and Sensibility. The oldest sister taking on all the responsibility and really sacrificing herself for her sister to make sure that her sister's okay. The main character and our hero in this story, oh my goodness. Pride and Prejudice, banter, situation. This author is very talented and she is quickly becoming one of my favorites. You can see all the tabs. Some are humor, some are just profound. And again, the romance is swoon worthy. Cannot recommend this book enough. 5 stars. Mr. Gardner and the Governess by Sally Britton, a Cleaver Castle, book number 1. Our main character, Alice, who is the Duke's governess. She doesn't know what she's doing, but she's very desperate for the job. She's brilliant, she's sweet, but she's just doing everything she can to keep her nose clean. There's also a guest at the house. He's a gentleman entomologist, so that means he's wealthy, but he studies bugs. Ooh. He is handsome, but he studies bugs. Women don't give him the time of day, but Alice is different. Definitely a gentle, charming novella. I loved it. It's on Kindle Unlimited, and I believe I found the audio on her YouTube page. This was really sweet. I gave it 4 stars. Book number 2 is called A Companion for the Count. Now, this one is about Miss Emma, who is the companion to the eldest daughter of the Duke. But what's great about this one is that it starts in late September. It says the late September afternoon, verging into October, boasted more sun than usual for that time of year. The breeze rustled through the leaves, now changed from green to yellow and orange, with reds and browns scattered through the gardens too. This one was also charming and sweet and inspiring, very witty, very romantic, and it was just, again, slow, gentle romance. I just love those cameos from the other characters. One quote that I wrote down is, "Her laughter poured out like water from a fountain, bubbling with absolute glee." I mean, this one got 4 stars as well. The Blooming of Delphinium by Holly Varney, book number 2 in the Moonberry Lake series. Delphinium, a lady who has a gift of being able to pick up on people's vibes by smelling what kind of flower they smell like. So she can tell whether someone has good character or bad. Elderly men in the community, small little town, wanted to leave their assisted living facility and come hang out in her flower freezer and play poker. There is one sentence where it refers back to the main character of book number 1. It's in the same town, and that's it. I heard a little bit of buzz about people not being happy with some kind of new age vibe or something in book number 1. There was none of that. But this one was unique, funny, interesting. The wit of the main character, her heart for these older people, the humor of the seniors, those senior men, so funny. But there were several patriotic nods, uplifting messages. I gave it 4 stars. I'm back with 4 amazing middle grade nonfictions, and I want to tell you very quickly what I liked about each one. The first one is Thomas Paine and the Fight for Liberty by Samuel Willard Crompton. If you want to dig in a little bit more about who Thomas Paine was, beyond being a writer and an activist, the writer of Common Sense, the little pamphlet that basically spurred on the patriots to literally fight for their independence. I know from other research that his words were powerfully used by George Washington to inspire his troops when they were fighting for independence and things looked dire. He was very, very wise. But what else do we know about him? Did you know, were you aware? He was born in England and had only been in the colonies for a year when he wrote Common Sense. How did this happen? Why did this happen? This book tells you, and it was so interesting. I loved it. But he was a very passionate man, and I really enjoyed this book. 4 stars. Molly Pitcher, Heroine of the War for Independence by Rachel A. Kostler-Gratt. This is a perfect length to learn about the courageous and important contributions of women during the Revolutionary War. Molly is not the only one that is spoken of, but Molly's story is fascinating. Her bravery and the things that she did for our country, standing beside her husband, a soldier, is at just over 100 pages. There are wonderful photographs, Q&As, timelines, and more. It's a very nice hardcover, and I would like to own it in my little library. Thomas Jefferson in the Heroes of the American Revolution series by Don McNeese. This is a fabulous, fairly quick read that's jam-packed full of interesting facts about Jefferson. Easy to read and skim through quickly. Definitely not boring. I was pretty impressed with this book and the others in this set. Close to 100 pages. Very good. 4 stars. And the most surprising of all of these, Samuel Adams and the Boston Tea Party, which is part of the Graphic Heroes of the American Revolution series. And to be honest, I did not expect much. All of it was engaging, funny, and interesting. Even gave a little bit more detail that I was surprised about. That was very accurate. The images pushed the story forward in such a fun way, and I say bravo. 4 stars. Really saving the best for last. I wanted to show y'all how I finished 150 of the Psalms. Thanks for being here. All the links you need will be in the description below. If you need more clean, cozy reads for this season, here are some video ideas to watch next. And until next time.